What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So this morning I woke up, I kind of got into my usual routine. I started getting ready to talk about some crypto news, things that were coming out, projects I was looking at. And then I took a look at the markets, right? And I thought to myself, okay, this is happening again. Now, there's a lot of people that have been involved in cryptocurrency way longer than I have, all right? And I've only been in it for, well, as far as purchasing crypto, exactly 1 year, literally as of yesterday. So I'm not even exactly, old school veteran myself. But I will tell you that from experience, the things that we are seeing right now are very, very normal in the markets, okay? Now, yes, people are going to say right off the bat, it's FUD, it's this, it's that. Some news came out. It was South Korea, it was the SEC. They're banning this and this and that, right? I mean, it's funny because I actually was talking to Jeff over at Quantalysis, and he was telling me how crypto essentially means like, something like secret, right? It's like a secret. And I actually looked up the definition, and I didn't even know this, but outside of cryptography, the second informal definition of crypto is a person having a secret allegiance to a political creed, especially communism, which that's pretty dark, right? So I started thinking about this, and you see these coming out all the time. For example, you have CNBC under fire following pump and dump allegations saying that, oh, they were talking about this particular coin and this came out and then this pumped and then, they're this. So there's so much speculation in the market. I mean, look at what's going on today. So clearly, we'll do a live refresh. So actually, it hasn't really moved much since I had this page loaded. But Bitcoin is still sitting below $8,000. But what I really wanted to talk about today, this is a little bit of a fireside chat minus the fireside. I just wanted to talk about market sentiment, real world use case, last year versus this year, how you should handle this. Obviously nothing financial advice, but we're all out here. We have our money in crypto. I'm sure if you're watching right now, you have money in crypto most likely. So the biggest question that you have to say over and over again is, if you are freaking out right now, and I know I sound like a broken record here, but it's because it's true. If you're freaking out right now, you might have more money in crypto than you're actually comfortable with losing, right? Now, I don't think that anyone is going to lose money long term unless you're in some really terrible project, and you guys know which projects those are, okay? I don't have to tell you which ones are the pump and dump crap coins, okay? But when you look at the technology, we have had so much advancement in this year alone. Now, let's compare 2017 to 2018. So last year, we had insane price speculation, okay? People were literally just buying Bitcoin, buying these projects, buying these altcoins because their friends were doing it. I had so many friends that I hadn't spoken to since high school coming out, hitting me up, asking me questions on my old Facebook account. I had family members calling me up. How do I get this? How do I buy in? Bitcoin to the moon. CNBC's pumping the crap out of it, right? Every day they're just talking about moonshot, right? Excuse me. So, what is the difference between last year and this year? Well, the difference is that last year we had white paper promises. We had a lot of companies saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Yeah, here, take my money, guys, right? And unfortunately, buying into things that you don't understand is probably the biggest mistake that you can make in life in general, not just in crypto. So last year, we were seeing insane price valuations of these projects, just way out of the ballpark prices, and very minimal technological advancement. Whereas this year, we're seeing partnerships, we're seeing all of these crazy advancements in consensus mechanisms, we're seeing mainnets get launched, we're seeing partnerships like, I'm actually going to get into a few a little bit later, but, and what's happening to the price? Nothing. So you might say to yourself, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah, well, neither did what was happening last year. It didn't make any sense for a market to be worth as much as it was without actually having really any foundation outside of the basics, right? We had a few projects that were working last year, that were doing their thing. Clearly Bitcoin has its purpose. Ethereum has its purpose. We saw some of these other projects start coming up. Neo had a great year last year. So when you look at these kind of sideways, almost downward, stagnant markets, here's the thing that I want you to think about. Just think about this real quick, seriously. For every buy, there's a sell. And for every sell, there's a buy. In other words, what I'm saying is there's two people on either side of the screen, okay? So when you look at the market cap of the entire crypto space, it's really not an accurate representation 100%. Like, for example, we couldn't all cash out right now. That'd be impossible. Inevitably, somebody would be left holding the bag, right? Because you need to have a buyer and a seller. So essentially, when you're really looking at, for example, the price of Bitcoin, just this is a really simple way of breaking it down. So imagine Bitcoin over 100 exchanges. Say there's 100 different exchanges selling Bitcoin, and they're all selling it at slightly different prices, right? You take the average, you smash that together, and then you multiply that by the amount of coins, and that's how you get the market cap. You understand? So the market cap fluctuating up and down like this, it really doesn't mean as much as it comes across to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very difficult to explain, but look at it this way. If Bitcoin is falling right now and the price is going lower and lower and lower, that means people are selling, right? But it also means that people are buying. So who is buying Bitcoin right now? That's what you really need to be looking at. When you think about these investors and you think about people that realize the potential, even just for monetary gains, you know, let alone the technology and how you could send cross-border remittances for fractions of a penny. When you just think about these people that are interested solely in making money, someone is buying Bitcoin right now while we're selling it, or you're selling it, or they're selling it, or whoever's selling it, right? And the thing is, you know, it's not a one-trick pony. Anyone that's interested, especially in making money in these markets, they're not going to just do it one time. Like, hey, that was a real great run we had, fellas, back in, December. You know, it was great. We made a lot of money. You know, let's go move on to something else. No, they're going to still stay involved in this, but they're going to wait until the entry points are good for them. Okay, so that's just the straight up like whale manipulation perspective if you really want to look at it. They are waiting for those lower prices to get in. So I just felt like I kind of had to talk a little bit about sentiment and what it is. And what I really wanted to focus on in today's episode, which I will get into in just a little bit, is technology and making sure that you position yourself in something that you feel has value and that actually has real world use cases, that's actually doing stuff right now. All right, so that's just stuff that I just wanted to kind of talk about. I know this is very different from most of my videos, and yeah, I'm kind of rambling, guys, but I felt the need to bring this up because it's really important. And you know, you don't have to buy crypto every week. That's the other thing too. I talk about dollar cost averaging. Dollar cost averaging is the simplest thing you can ever do. You know, you buy a little bit each Friday, just a little bit. And you might feel like you're missing out on gains, but if your strategy is long-term and you see the vision of this thing long-term, then why should you care at what price you buy at? Okay? But if you're just trying to make super fast money, well, then you're playing a risky game. And understand that when you're throwing all this money into projects, you know, hoping for massive gains, then you have to be comfortable with these massive losses as well. So that's just something that I kind of wanted to point out and go into. So I actually made a little bit of a list, which I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about. Now, we are seeing Bitcoin dominance slightly increase. So, you know, right here, we have gone up about roughly 2%, you know, in the week. But if you look at the overall, you know, trajectory, Bitcoin is going down in market, you know, percentage of the total dominance of the cap. So the Bitcoin dominance is still falling. However, we do find that in times like this, people do freak out and they put their money into Bitcoin. So, you know, is it a good time to hold Bitcoin? I mean, it's always a good time to hold a little bit of Bitcoin, but you got to kind of get used to doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing. Like, I'm not going to give you financial advice, but like usually when people are selling, that's when you should be buying. So like I was completely transparent with my Telegram chat last night. Like I bought in this dip. So could it go lower? Absolutely. It could always go lower, but these are still great deals compared to where we were. So I used some of those gains from what I hedged, because I always hedge a little bit in Bitcoin. You know, some people, they like to use Tether USDT. You could do that. True USD. Those are all options as well. So always keep a little bit aside. So in times like this, you don't feel so bad, you know? If you go all in and you have no fiat or you have no side funds to invest, then that's when you freak out, especially when you're all in. That's a very uncomfortable feeling because you feel very closed off in a box, right? So why Bitcoin? Why? This again? Is it over? Is it done, guys? Welcome to Bitcoin Obituaries, where Bitcoin has died over 294 times. Yes. I will drop a link in the description, guys. You could scroll down here. You could see every single time the market was ending and Bitcoin was dying, and it's still alive. And when you compare to where we were last year, you find that we are still very, very much ahead of where we were. So I just wanted to take a quick second, rapid fire. I wanted to just go through, look at projects, look at some things out there. Now, guys, this is not a definitive list. There's over 1,600 currencies, cryptos, okay? There's just no way. These are just some that I just picked that I wanted to go over. So looking at projects. So you have EOS, right? Now, EOS doesn't even have their mainnet out yet, right? So could this have been part of that speculation? I mean, we saw it go from 60 cents or 40 cents, whatever the all-time low was, all the way up to an all-time high of $22. So now we are entering phase 2 that I was telling you guys about. Last year, we had white papers. This year, we need that MVP. We need to see these projects up and running, working, providing that actual tech, that actual stability, that base layer, okay? So look at EOS, guys. I mean, this is a project that the mainnet is coming out. A lot of people are excited about that, so we're going to have to see what comes out of that. I mean, Dan Larimer, he has a very good track record with the projects that he's been involved with BitShares and Steemit. But like I said, you know, we were looking at a almost a $22 on some exchanges, a $22 EOS, and now you're looking at a half price EOS. So here's your options right now. You can either just chill and do nothing. You could sell for a loss, which I'm not going to suggest you do that because that's a really stupid idea. Maybe you should just grit it out and wait a little bit. Or if you do have money on the side and you're interested, this is up to you. You have to feel comfortable doing this. Now's the time to buy. I never buy when coins are going up. I buy the dips, always. Not in the beginning, I didn't. In the beginning, I lost a lot of money. Stupid money because of my own fault. If the market goes down, I didn't lose money. I lost money on paper, but I didn't lose money. It's just that the value of the market is down. But if you sell out of a coin, if you straight up sell a coin for a loss, you lost that money. You'll never get that back, okay? So that's where hodling comes in. So is hodling always the best answer? To be honest, no, not all the time. It's honestly not when you're talking about financial gains. But selling for a loss is probably even worse. You know what I'm saying? So there you have one of those projects, EOS. You also have vechain, another project that's out there, slamming it with partnerships right now. They are doing real things as we speak. They've recently announced Player Platform, their first ICO. I mean, we saw what happened with Neo when Neo started doing ICOs, okay? Once the platforms have their use cases, they have their utility. Look what happened with Ethereum. As soon as Ethereum became the platform to launch your ICOs, that was it, right? That was the golden moment. So I think like what we're finding right now is we're going to have to really be smarter with what we do. I think investors are going to be smarter as well. They're either going to be looking at these really, really, really cheap ICOs for quick flips, which you have to be careful with because those are very risky as well, or these long-term projects that actually have not just a vision, but the team and the product to back it up. Another project that we can speak about as well. So you have QLink recently rebranding to QLC Chain. So, you know, they do have their own app. They have WinQ. So one of the things that people don't understand about QLC Chain is that, yes, they were a NeoNet 5 token, but they are currently in the process of forming their own main net. Yes, guys, you heard that right. They are going to be forming their own main net. Now, they may still use Neo potentially to host the digital assets should they choose to, but they're going to be requiring a lot higher transactions, and they're not going to be able to have to stay on a network that's also running a lot of other dApps as well. So they are looking to introduce their own chain, which this is really awesome, guys. They're going to be utilizing a combination of block lattice plus smart contracts. So that's like block lattice, kind of like what Nano's doing. And then they also are introducing the Shannon Consensus. So I'm not going to go into all this right now. It's a lot. But essentially, they were analyzing some of the flaws of proof of work, and they were analyzing some of the flaws of proof of stake. And so they came out with the Shannon Consensus. So it takes it one step further than proof of work and proof of stake. Yeah, so you guys can have a look at that, but they are doing so much. And another thing too, guys, like I said, you got to get involved with these projects. You have to get involved with community. QLink is having their AMA. after their rebranding. Susan will be there. I'll drop a link in the description, and you can go check that out. That's all about the rebranding, all about what's coming up. And they also have a new yellow paper that will be coming out very, very soon, which I'm personally excited to get my hands on because I know that this project has been working on so much in the background. Another great project that I just spoke about the other day, one of the first projects I ever talked about, Deep Brain Chain. Now, here's the craziest thing. We're talking about prices, right? Well, let's have a look. So, Deep Brain Chain. Look at this price increase. You had a 63-cent Deep Brain Chain. Look at that. And now we're down here. And all that came out just with the news, just with this new coin that came out, this AI project on Neo. Everyone was so excited, right? And then the price just sank. And the crazy thing is, look where we're sitting now. I mean, we've had a little bit of price increase, but if you come over here, look, Deep Brain Chain AI mining machines available for pre-sale. Okay? I mean, these are projects that are out there, and yet the prices are not reflecting what they're doing. So it's a little bit of a topsy-turvy year. One of the other projects that I spoke about on my channel, and by the way, the reason that I'm bringing these projects up specifically, I'm not like shilling a specific type of coin. I actually took notes here, and I was talking about coins that have seen huge hits in the past week and even bigger hits from their all-time high. So even though zebi has only really had an all-time high of, I think it was like 22 cents, they're still sitting at an 18% decrease in the week alone. So zebi's another one of those projects, you know? They have real connections with the Indian states, okay? They're working to they are actually putting land registries on the blockchain. They've recently launched their zebi AI chain for the hospitality industry. They've had people speaking about how this is really great. Even police officers out in India were saying how much easier this makes their job. So these are real world applications, and yet they're not getting any love whatsoever. Speaking, by the way, I just want to let you guys know, zebi actually did get listed on some more exchanges, but I don't know what that's going to do in this market, honestly. Hopefully it does something good, but with this market, everything's kind of driven. And don't forget, Bitcoin is the big papa. So you have these other protocols too. You have things like 0x, right? And Kyber Network. So 0x is doing amazing things. Kyber Network, they were working with the Interoperability Alliance, not as one of the main 3 members, but you do have other things of that nature. Some other projects that I didn't even add to the list too is like supply chain logistics, guys. Walton chain. Walton chain is also like kind of with the whole vechain thing, but they're working on real world application as well. They're talking about their manless, or in other words, employee-less stores, right? With all these different, smart changing rooms and smart information utilizing the RFID. You can tell what color shirt was put on the rack, how many times I changed sizes, what I eventually ended up going with, what my preferences are. There's all these different amazing things that are coming out from things. You have, Walton chain, Origin Trail, supply chain logistics as well, Morpheus Network, which is not even out yet. Dan, he's a really awesome guy. They have really great stuff going on. So this is all stuff that's happening in the real world. You also have these other protocols like loopring. Loopring is another one that I kind of cut it off because I got sidetracked on Walton, but I was going to talk about this included with things like 0x and Kyber. You have loopring, LRC, LRN, LRQ working on all these different layers. I actually have an interview next week with Daniel from Loopring, and we're going to go into this. We're going to dive in and talk about what's going on with Loopring, how we're going to have all these different tokens on these different blockchains, okay? So that's stuff to pay attention to as well. Another project that I'm bringing up, guys, obviously this is one of my favorite projects, and the reason I'm bringing this one up is because when I checked last night, Icon was down 22%, and I think today, this is the daily right here. I'm not talking about the daily, I'm talking about the weekly, okay? So Icon is down over 22% on the weekly. Guys, Icon is a project that already existed. The loop was already a thing before they even got tokenized. They've already been working with so many businesses. They've been working with the regulators. They have a blockchain right now that's being utilized by many different enterprises and institutions as we speak. And look what the price has done. You see, we had an all-time of 12, I saw 13 on a few exchanges, and we're at freaking $2.92 right now. And, when you look at this, Icon announces their partnership with Line to create Unchain. Guys, this is an amazing thing. I don't think people understand the magnitude of these types of partnerships, When you're affiliated, in a way with things like Naver, which is essentially the Google, of South Korea, you have to really realize what these projects are doing. And, you have the first ICO as well, Blue Whale, coming out of Icon as well. So speaking on the same topics like we were, there's actually some looking to come out on EOS. And all of these blockchains are going to be competing in the future as well. Another great project as well is Neblio. Neblio is also one of those blockchains focused very specifically on enterprise, and they themselves have also seen a massive hit of around 22%. So nothing has changed about the technology, guys. There's nothing different, but the price is down. It's the sentiment. It's the feeling, right? It's our perception. There was a recent study that came out. I actually don't have it pulled up right here, but they were saying how these markets are driven more by emotion than by any factual evidence of any sorts. So basically you had that situation, Speaking on other blockchains like this, Neo. I don't really think I have to go into Neo. Neo I've probably talked about more than any other project. But what we're seeing now is even if these blockchains do not eventually become the be-all, end-all, there can only be one blockchain, we're realizing that they're working very good for ICOs and incubators, okay? Even like Dragon Chain, for example, just having that focus on incubation. And that's another reason why I always bring up achain. Now, people is like, achain, I don't get achain, I don't understand achain. Guys, the funny thing about achain is there was actually an article that came out, granted, it was a sponsored article, but it did come out in Cointelegraph, and they were talking about, the title is Chinese Inventions, Gunpowder, Paper, and achain. So basically what they're trying to say is there is this new idea of blockchain as a service, okay? Komodo is doing the exact same thing. Blockchains as a service. So this is something that you could really see as well. achain, their whole model is we've built a blockchain. We're currently able to do 1,000 transactions per second. Here you go. Copy it. It's yours. So you run this secure blockchain. We incubate you. We make sure that everything works out all right. And then should you need more, you just fork another chain. So the same thing that Komodo's doing. And look at this fall. We had Komodo at a $12, almost $13 Komodo. And now we're down at $3. What changed? What changed about it? Absolutely nothing. This is a working product, literally. And I think blockchain as a service is going to be something that people are going to have to wrap their heads around. There's so much hype over transactions per second and this and that. We do have these really awesome projects like Zilliqa. They're dealing with sharding. They're coming out with all of this amazing technology to get more transactions, higher throughput. But at the same time, you also realize that things such as Komodo and achain and even Neo, there's some projects and there's some businesses, in fact, most businesses that don't really need a lot of high throughput. Like, seriously, even 1,000 transactions per second, right? So, that's too slow. Not for most businesses. Think of most businesses. Think of a hospital. A hospital doesn't have to do 1,000 transactions per second. It really doesn't. You might think it does, but it doesn't. What does a hospital need to do? Verify a record here and there, send something out. You know what I'm saying? Put some confidential information. You have, insurance. How many transactions per second is an insurance company doing, right? So, and then you want to get it even smaller. Let's start looking at like mom and pop stores, right? Like mom and pop shops, right? How many transactions per second are, is like a landscaping company doing, or, you know what I'm saying? Or, a musician or something like that. So I just wanted to kind of just stress that there's different use cases for different blockchains, and don't get caught up in the hype over you have to have 1,000,000 trillion zillion transactions, or you have to have this type of proof of consensus, right? So that's the other things we want to get. Let me get off this. Then you have wanchain. Wanchain is another one of those great projects. Look at this. Look at where it was. It was sitting all the way down at 313. We hit an all-time high of $10, which is funny because I actually called that in my wanchain video. I called $10. I can't believe I called it. That's pretty funny. But anyway, not to brag on what I said. But anyway, so you're having these projects come out, wanchain, rebuilding finance, right? So, but look at what they're doing. They're having their partnerships with pundix Labs. Pundix Labs, guys, they're out there. They're doing real things. They have an actual device that you can use to basically use crypto to buy and sell. That's technology, And actually, I have to say recently the price has sort of reflected that, although even that has been affected, And if you look at a lot of these dips, they all mirror Bitcoin. We're still pegged to Bitcoin. I hate to admit it, but we are. whatever Bitcoin does, for the most part, we do. There's always those one or two exceptions that kind of just break through the mold, out of the barrier. But for the most part, if Bitcoin dips, we all dip. Other chains, you have tomochain. So tomochain, they also have an app out as well. They have their ecosystem. Look, they're partnered with Big Bomb. Okay, I just had an interview with them. They're trying to get that advertising, get it out of the hands of these big centralized guys that are controlling everything, telling you what you can and can't see, and invading your privacy. So they have an up and running application. You can use it right now. You can download it. I've tried it. Granted, it wasn't super impressive, but you know what? Neither was the Lit app for Mithril. But at least it's a working thing, right? At least you can actually mine Mithril by posting. I mean, I know I'm not on Mithril, but I'm talking about Mithril as well. You also have Poa Network, guys. So Poa Network, they've recently introduced the Poa Bridge. This bridge is an interoperability protocol that's going to allow a user to convert their own POA native tokens from the POA network onto the Ethereum network in a quick and cost-efficient manner. So these are all things that these projects are doing. And if you want to look at somewhat more of the speculative, so you do have Matrix AI Network right now, currently working very hard in the background. Now, there are still a few speculative investments out there as well. But, take for example that, look at this tweet. So this is from Visions Capital. Being the only AI and blockchain partner of One Belt, One Road project, Chinese government clearly thinks Matrix AI Network has the potential to become a successful new generation AI-powered blockchain. So, the Chinese government, and look at how they've been kind of like slamming down on crypto lately, okay? So those are just all things. And guys, even projects like I talked to selfsell. I did an interview with these guys. Now, they are not very well known at all in the West, but they were one of those chains that forked off of achain. So they are utilizing, basically selfsell essentially is achain. Like, it's the same blockchain, but they're utilizing it for their own needs. Actually, they've had a bit of a price increase. I think it was because of the news that came out, and also they finally had their market cap listed for once. So, I had an opportunity to speak with them, and they have this crazy concept where it's invest in people, right? Totally crazy, right? But the thing is, it's not just a white paper promise. I mean, they literally just had James Rodriguez, who is a Colombian football, but in America, we would say soccer player, and he recently just had his own JR10 token. And I had an opportunity as well to have a look at the white paper. So if I pull this up over here, I'm not going to go crazy into it. But look, so, JR token, he has his own white paper coming out. And this is stuff that they're looking to do for individuals. People that maybe they don't have the funds, or somebody who wants to become an aspiring musician or an aspiring athlete or something like that. You can essentially invest in a person. And they're showing this with the first example of the JR10 token. I mean, this is a real thing. I mean, you could see the allocations of where the money's going to go. Then they have a lockup period where, certain funds don't get released until certain milestones get hit. I mean, these are all real world applications, guys. These are things that we're actually seeing moving forward. And then on top of all this other adoption, you're seeing things like Goldman Sachs backed Circle investing in an app that basically helps newbies to buy the market. So essentially this feature, you would just go in and you would just buy like the top 7 or 10 coins or whatever like that, okay? So this stuff is really still moving forward and happening. I mean, look, this just came out the other day. This is an article in a newspaper in Canada for Mogo, which is an app that helps you to buy and sell cryptocurrencies. And their whole thing is no funding and no withdrawal fees. So it's not like they're not doing stuff. It's not like things aren't happening, You also had Ripple donating $4 million on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Ashton Kutcher was there and everything. Now, okay, we may not all love Ripple, the bank coin, right? But what I'm trying to say is it's not like it's going anywhere, right? The technology is here. The progress is moving forward. And also, I did promise Peter over at Asura that I would shout him out because I wanted to say congratulations for being in the entrepreneur spotlight. Yeah, that's really awesome, dude. So congratulations. That's got to be such a great feeling. Just kind of wanted to give that guy a shout out. Asura World, Asura Coin, we did an interview as well. So congratulations, Peter, if you're watching. Just had to throw you in the video real quick, buddy. But, getting back to the whole markets and the sentiment, maybe this video was a bunch of ramble. Maybe you feel like this was a waste of your time. Maybe you could have done something better. I don't know, guys. But for me personally, I just wanted to I felt like it was my obligation as a content creator and a personality that you guys come to for my videos to watch. I just felt that I needed to remind you that it's not all doom and gloom. It's not the end of the world. Look at that, guys. I was talking for so long, my camera shut off. So I guess that means it's time for me to go. I could probably ramble on all day about this, but essentially the points that I was trying to make is that the market is the market, okay? The prices don't necessarily reflect the value of things. It's very speculative. It's very emotional. Here's a few things to just remember. Time in the market is better than trying to time the market. Obviously, don't put in more than you can afford to lose. I know everyone tells you that, but you'll be so much more comfortable. I mean, I've actually allocated a little bit of fiat on the side now recently. I used to be all in crypto, but now I do have some cash on the side. And the reason that I have this is because of good opportunities to buy, but also because it just makes you feel better. You know, you should always hedge your bets against all these different things as well. So, not gonna lie, my camera shutting off kind of made me lose my train of thought. But I think you guys get the gist, you know. I do feel it's an obligation and an opportunity, an obligation and a responsibility for me to come here and spend time to talk with you guys on videos like this. So I know that this video was really long. I just wanted to remind you that the tech is here, the interest is here, blockchain is revolutionary. It's changing the industries as we speak. Enterprises are looking for major adoption. There are going to be so many more players coming into this, and not only that, but it's going to help redefine and shape the world in ways that we've never seen before. And if you think that's too corny and you don't want to believe that, then that's fine. But you have to understand that the market's being down and the market's being up, they don't really change anything. Okay? You go to these conferences, you talk to these people, they're not talking about price. I mean, maybe the investors are, the developers aren't, the people doing the tech aren't, you know? They don't care. These guys literally don't care about price at all. They are just horse blinders focused on tech. So, not financial advice, but the best advice I can give you is if you don't feel comfortable buying, don't. You know? You have that right to not go in and not buy. But also, it's a great time to buy right now. So, but you have to do what you want, you know? So that being said, guys, I just want to say thanks for coming back to my channel. Thanks for listening to my rant. It's unfortunate that I lost my train of thought when the camera cut out, but you guys know what I was basically talking about. So that being said, guys, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Drop, you know, instead of just, you know, I mean, I'd love for you guys to give me thumbs up. I don't like when people give me thumbs down and they don't explain like what they didn't like about the video. It always kind of concerns me. So if there's something about this video that you disagree with, potentially, instead of leaving a thumbs down, maybe you could just kind of write a comment and we could have a discussion, because I'd like to know how you guys are also feeling as well. So I highly encourage to continue this conversation down below and definitely get involved, guys. And that being said, my name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time. Okay, guys, stay crypto, because I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here tomorrow, guys. Markets up, markets down, sideways, crash, explosion to the moon. I'm not going anywhere. So until next time, stay crypto. Freaking love you guys. And peace out.